Hello and welcome. Today we are getting into one of the most talked about functional mushrooms out there, lion's mane. You've probably seen it. It's got that wild, shaggy look. But what's really grabbing everyone's attention are the incredible claims about what it can do for our brains. But what's the real story here? I mean, let's be honest, this is the big question, right? Can this fungus actually make you sharper, more focused, maybe even smarter? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
So let's start at the beginning. Lion's mane is not some new fad. It's actually been a staple in traditional East Asian medicine for centuries, mostly for things like digestive health. But fast forward to today, and it has absolutely exploded in the wellness world for a totally different reason, as a nootropic, something to support your brain.
Okay, so its fancy scientific name is Hericium erinaceus. And yeah, it gets its common name from those long, dangly spines that kind of look like a lion's mane. The key word you're going to hear a lot is neurotrophic. All that means is that it helps support the growth and survival of our brain cells, our neurons. All right, let's get into the science of it, because how this is all supposed to work is pretty fascinating. This isn't like caffeine that just gives you a jolt. The mechanism seems to go way deeper, involving something called neurotrophic factors. Now, here's something you really need to get. Lion's mane isn't just one single thing. It's got two key groups of active compounds, and they come from different parts of the mushroom. You've got erinacines, which are found in the mycelium. That's kind of like the root system. And then you have hericenones, which are in the fruiting body, the actual mushroom part we see. Both of them are thought to be super important for the brain benefits.
Probably the best way to think about what these compounds do is to imagine them as fertilizer for your brain. Seriously, they seem to encourage your body to produce more of two really critical proteins, nerve growth factor, or NGF, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. And these things are absolutely fundamental for keeping your neurons healthy and happy.
So here's the chain of events, basically. First, those key compounds we mentioned are thought to be small enough to get past the super-selective blood-brain barrier. Once they're in, they nudge the brain to start making more of that NGF and BDNF's fertilizer. That, in turn, kicks off a whole cascade of signals that help your neurons not just survive, but also grow new connections and stay flexible. That flexibility, that plasticity, is what's essential for learning and memory.
But hold on, because this is where the story takes a really cool turn. If we only focus on the brain, we are missing a massive part of the picture. Remember how it was traditionally used for digestion? Well, that was a huge clue about what's really going on. That's right. The brain is literally only half the story. To really get what lion's mane is doing, we have to look down to the gut. This is where a whole other set of powerful things start to happen. You see, lion's mane is just packed with these special carbohydrates called polysaccharides, especially beta-glucans. And these act as prebiotics. They're food for the good bacteria in your gut. This doesn't just help with digestion. A happy gut microbiome helps strengthen your intestinal wall, it helps regulate your immune system right there in the gut, and it can even lower major inflammatory signals. It all lines up perfectly with why it was used for stomach issues for so long. And this is a perfect illustration of what scientists call the gut-brain axis. Think of it like a superhighway with information flowing in both directions, 24/7. When your gut is healthier and less inflamed, it sends calming signals up to the brain. So some of the brain benefits we see might not even be direct. They could be an awesome side effect of having a calmer, healthier gut. Okay, so the theory is fantastic. The lab research is compelling. But here's the million-dollar question. Does any of this actually work in real people? Let's look at the human clinical trials and see what they have to say. So one of the biggest studies you'll always hear about took place in Japan. It ran for 16 weeks, so 4 months, and the participants were older adults who are already dealing with some mild cognitive issues. And the results are, well, they're interesting. For those folks with mild cognitive impairment, they saw a real significant improvement in their cognitive scores. The catch? The effect seemed to go away after they stopped taking it. There have also been a few small studies on mood and anxiety that found some benefits, but we're talking tiny sample sizes. And other research suggests a one-off dose doesn't do much at all, which really points to the idea that you'd need to take it consistently over time to see any effects. So what's the bottom line on the human studies? I'd say the word is promising, but also preliminary. The science for how it could work is totally there. It's very plausible. But we're still waiting on those bigger, more powerful clinical trials to really confirm these effects without a doubt.
All right, let's bring this all home. What's the big idea you should walk away with? How do we piece this all together?
I think the most important thing is that calling lion's mane just a brain mushroom really sells it short. It seems to be a multi-system influencer. Yes, it supports the brain's own growth factors, but it also provides antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. And maybe most importantly, it works on the gut, strengthening that entire gut-brain superhighway.
So the crucial point is this. Lion's mane is a powerful example of how one single thing in nature can influence the brain, the gut, and the immune system all at the same time. It's just a fantastic reminder of how interconnected our bodies are and how helping one system can create these amazing ripple effects everywhere else.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. As we get better at understanding these complex ancient organisms, you have to wonder, is the future of health hiding in plain sight in these natural systems that have been here all along? It's a pretty fascinating thing to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.